Basically, in this particular webinar, I want to make sure that you have a good basic understanding of what XML is, how it works, and perhaps for you to be able to take the next steps in order to get working with XML. I am going to have future webinars on XML and web development as well. I have had a couple of them already. I'm going to spend the first few minutes talking about an overview, and then I'm going to be basically demonstrating the different pieces of XML to you. I'm going to be talking to you about XML tools that you can use to develop with XML. However, in my case, since I'm showing you things in the most simplest of forms, I'm just going to be using Notepad. Not exactly the best tool in the world, but I'm going to be using something very simple because nothing I will be doing is very complicated. So I'm going to be using Notepad to present present my demonstrations and examples to you. Later on, I will give you some time to ask me questions, and we'll take things from there. So first of all, we need to answer the question, a real basic question, what XML is. And, many people hear about XML and they don't really know what it is or how it works or when to use it or any of that. So I'm going to try and introduce some of that to you. Well, first of all, XML is the XML piece, is the extensible markup language. The extensible piece is that you can create your own tags. If I was to give XML a real general description or a moniker, that's what it would be. And XML became a worldwide Web Consortium recommendation in 1998. It is similar to HTML, but not a replacement for HTML. So keep that in mind, first of all. XML doesn't replace HTML. XML really is the foundation of several web technologies. Right? XHTML, which is also something you will hear, is HTML that has been formatted as XML syntax. Okay. RSS and Atom. Okay. These are used for publishing, such as blogs. Okay. RSS is really simple syndication. There's also AJAX. AJAX is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. That's what AJAX is all about. You may hear these terms also. You may also hear web services. Web services are APIs or functions, procedures, methods that are used over the web. Okay, Those are web services. And examples of APIs are things such as travel information, weather information, stock ticker information, and so on, that you can gain access to from anywhere. Now, XML is used to structure and describe information. Describe information. And XML was also intended to be used over the internet. Right? So it's meant for what it is being used for, and it's also supposed to be used to exchange data between disparate systems. And there's a Microsoft product called BizTalk Server, BTS, that uses XML to communicate disparate systems such as a point of sale system and a enterprise resource planning system and for example, a customer relationship management system. It will make all those different systems talk to one another using XML as the point of data interchange, if you will. Okay. It's a really, really powerful tool, and that allows you to use data in the most efficient manner. Even though it is kind of text, it is not really text because it's a lot more intelligent than plain old text. Now, there are also some related systems associated with XML. Okay. So XML has some related technologies. For example, XML related technologies. For example, there's XPath. XPath is like a query language used to search, find data in XML. Okay. There's also XSLT, which is the XML style sheet language transformations. Okay. And you'll see this. I'll give you an example of this. Style sheet is one word, not two words like that. Okay. There's also XQuery, and yeah, style sheet is kind of similar to CSS. Yes, except it's made for XML. You can also use CSS with XML. XQuery is the more advanced querying language than XPath. Right? Then there is XPointer and XLink. XPointer and XLink links between and within XML documents. Right? Okay, so that's what that is. The next thing that I want to tell you about is some practical purposes, and basically I want to present the first XML file, our first XML document to you. I'm going to do something very, very basic now. XML documents, all XML documents, start with a kind of like a XML header, if you will, and XML also has some real practical uses. Now let me show you something before I create my very first basic XML file. Now what I'm going to do is, this is PowerShell. I don't know if you're familiar with PowerShell or not, but PowerShell is a command line engine that allows you to administer systems on Windows. Right? It interacts with Active Directory, SharePoint, SQL Server, Oracle, Hyper-V, System Center, Windows operating system itself, and a bunch of other things. And it's okay if you're not familiar with it. I'm just going to show you something very simple. In PowerShell, I'm going to list processes. Here are all the processes that are running on my system. All the processes that are running on my system. And I'm going to pick a process, right? I'm going to pick a process that I don't understand. So here's, for example, the SVC host. This process has a ID of 612. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and show you how XML is used here. I'm going to do get process with the ID of 612. That's that SVC host process that I listed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do format list everything, and I'm going to convert CLI XML, and I'm going to point come on, no, not convert, export Cli XML, and I'm going to export this to CW, and I'm going to do XML data procs.xml. So it converted that. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a look in my directory here. This is the XML file that it created for me. Here's you see this XML version 1.0, and it has created this nice collapsible, and it's telling me everything about the process. See it? You see the tags here? I can collapse them. See it? See all the object IDs, for example. Right? Plain old format. See the object IDs are listed? Right? And the reason I'm showing you this is because this is this is one of the practical uses of XML. It is used to structure and describe data. In this case, it has structured and is describing a process to me on my Windows system. Okay. I can use several tools to suck this data in and then, well, process it, essentially. It's very cool stuff. Very, very cool stuff. I'm going to exit out of this. And let me build my very first XML file. I'm going to save this as. I'm going to do first XML.xml. Save it. And then I'm going to present it with the opening tag of XML version equals. In quotes, I got to do 1.0. Those quotes have to be there. And I'm going to use a specific kind of encoding, well, the normal one that I'll use here, which is UTF-8. And I end it. This is the opening tag. Now, I don't need the encoding piece. However, I do need to tell it what version of XML I'm using. Next, I'm going to create my own tag. And I'm going to call the tag Hello World. I can call it whatever I want. I'm going to say Hello World from my first XML file, like this. And then I'm going to put a comment in here. Comment is specified by a less than sign, exclamation, hyphen, hyphen, and then I can say this is my first XML comment, hyphen, hyphen, greater than. That makes a comment, and I can just, as long as I have this at the end and this in the beginning, the comment can be on multiple lines. It doesn't really matter. Then I'm going to end my tag, and I'm going to end my tag with slash hello world. Now here's something interesting. You see how I have the H capital and the W capital, and it's all one word? The tags can't have spaces in them. They cannot start with a number. They can start with underscore, but they cannot start with a number. And the uppercase, lowercase makes a difference. Uppercase, lowercase does not make a difference in HTML, but they make a difference in XML. It is called well-formed XML. So here's my hello world. I'm going to save this. And then if I open up and I do webinars and I do that, and I do first XML, right click, and I do open with, and I'm going to open this with IE. There's my XML, see it? And I can collapse it, expand it, collapse it, expand it. And see the comment how it shows up? Okay. Yeah, so if I go back to my XML file, go back to my XML file, and I'm going to do more info. I'm going to say my name is Rafiq, and I have the following family members. And then I can say daughter, and name it Jane, slash, see I made it lowercase, it's okay. As long as it's consistent, it's perfectly okay. Son, John, dog spike dog, and then more info. Close that tag. Go over here, expand this. Here's my first XML. Now look what happened here. It said, hey, I've got this more info over here. You've got this listed over here. And then you've got this big tag and then this closing. And then you got stuff in it. Wait a minute. You have multiple primary tags? Uh-oh. Can't really do that. I'm going to take all this information and I'm going to stick it in here. Save this. Go back over here. So I cannot have multiple primary tags. This can be my big tag that everything is held under, hello world. So I can name this thing, for example, something a little bit more better, a little bit easier, and I can say I don't know, call it my entire doc. Not exactly meaningful. And then here I can say entire doc. And then I can stick other things inside of there. And you want to do indentation like this so that it's easier to read. XML syntax itself does not care about indenting. It does care about the opening and closing tags, that you have a proper closing tag in the proper place, and that you have the upper and lower case in the right place. So I've got one document tag, the opening and closing. I cannot have multiple primary tags. What happens if I stick this thing outside? As you noticed, maybe you didn't notice, if I take this out, I just cut it out and I put it outside and I save this. Watch what happens to this document. It goes like, it's like, wait a minute, I don't know what to make of this thing. Right? I'm looking at this and it says, hello world for my first XML file, which is this thing right here. And then it goes down here and it says, yeah, the document ended, man. I don't know what this is. So just ignores it. I go over here and I select view, source, where is it? Source. And I can see this stuff. See, I can see my mistake. And it's like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. This is not really a valid XML file. It's well formed because I've got the uppercase, lowercase business. But it is not a valid XML file because you've got multiple base tags here that are surrounding the entire document. So I'm going to go back to my doc as I did earlier. And I grab this and save it and go over here, refresh, and now I've got it, as you can see. So there's more info. You can expand and collapse that. There's daughter, son. Anyway, you get the drift behind what I'm trying to do here, and with this very first base XML file, if you will. Now, this XML file, as I have it right now, is being displayed inside of Chrome. If I right-click over here and I select Open With, and I select I opened it with IE. I'm gonna open it with Chrome. Where's Chrome, mommy? Did he say mommy? Click over here, and I'm going to do CW webinars XML, and then I'm going to do this. Grab this, paste it. Look how it shows up in Chrome. See how it's different in Chrome than it is in IE? Right? It's got these arrows. And then it says, hey, this XML file does not appear to have any style information associated with it. And then it just shows me the raw document below. Okay? So Chrome and IE and Firefox may display or associate or display our XML file a little bit differently. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a style sheet. Yes. And I'm going to create a style sheet, and then I'm going to associate it. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to open up a brand new notepad right here. And the reason again why I'm using Notepad is because I just want to demonstrate XML with the most simplest of editors. I'm not really sure how much simpler you can get than Notepad. So here I'm going to create a style sheet, something rather simple. Yeah, Firefox, Jason, may appear a little different as well. Yeah, so they will all display XML. So yeah, so base tag kind of is analogous to the body tag in HTML. Yeah, you cannot have multiple body tags. Everything has to be inside of the body. And the HTML has the HTML in the beginning, body after that, and everything underneath it. So yeah, so it's very similar to that. Okay, so in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say entire doc. Oh, I don't do that. Do this. Entire doc, and then surrounded with these braces, and I'm going to say display colon, say block, and I'm going to say font family, and I'm going to say Arial. I'm even going to say Cambria. I'm going to say font size, say just large, and I'm going to say color, say blue. Save this thing, close it, save it. Save it as first xml.css, just like that. Okay, got first. Now you don't have to name it the same, okay? I just named it the same for simplicity's sake. I left the extension CSS. So right now, if I refresh this, nothing happens, right? Because it just displays me the same document. I haven't associated my style sheet with the doc. So the way I do that, okay, is rather simple too. I in HTML, in XML, I go back to my XML code, which is here. No, it's not here. Go back to my XML code, which is, come on, this one. And I'm going to go right up here, and I'm going to say XML style sheet type text CSS href, and point it to first XML.css, like that, and then end it this way because it's the definition tag on top. Save it, go over here, refresh it, look. It changed it to blue. It also changed the font, but now it looks kind of crappy. But it did take the style sheet in effect. You know what? In HTML, you can have those break tags, and they're similar inside of XML too. But I just wanted to show you what would happen if I associated my style sheet with the XML file as I have it. Associating it with the style sheet and without the style sheet makes all the difference in the world. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, in my case, I'm going to extend my style sheet. I'm going to do this. Close this, save this. Here's my style sheet. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, so my style sheet will say, all right, I'm going to base it on specific names. So daughter, see I have a daughter tag right here, son tag, dog tag. So I'm going to do daughter, label it, and I'm going to specify for my daughter, I'm going to say color is going to be red. And then I'm going to say font weight will be bold. And I'm going to say font size will be 140%. And then I'm going to say display this thing in a block and save this. Go back here, refresh this. Now see that? Jane. Here's my daughter. See the effect? Jane. Jane. Bold, and it did do bold. And it made this thing a little bit bigger. If I change the font size relative to what it is right now, I do 200%, save it, do a refresh. 200% relative of where we are. I can also do much bigger. Look at that. You get the drift. Me fiddling. You get the drift of what I'm doing here, right? And I can do the same thing, of course. I can do the same thing, for my son. Just change the colors around, for example. I go over here, and instead of daughter, I'm going to replace this with son. Change this from red to, maybe give my son a pink color. Oh yeah, I'll show you how to move it to a separate line. I just did with my font and playing with that. But there are many different ways you can move things to a separate line. I'm going to make my son into 30 pixels. Bold, pink. Go over here, refresh it. There you go. So John is in pink. So you get the drift here with just specifying specifying a name, your tag, and then assigning a property value to those tags. Now I can also do this. I can say, in this particular instance, I can say that specify my style sheet here. Now watch what happens when I open this thing in Chrome. Close out of this. And no, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to open this thing with IE, and then I'm going to open Chrome. Go over here, expand it. Click, 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 click there. You see how different it appears in Chrome versus well, actually I've got it zoomed in Chrome and I don't have it here. I'm zooming it in IE, so it appears much bigger, as you can see. So here's Chrome, here's IE. Chrome, IE, right? Very similar result. So then, the next thing that I want to show you is if I take a look at my if I take a look at some other pieces here, here's what I'm going to do. Let me go back to my style sheet, this one here. I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to say entire doc over here. I'm going to say border 2 pixels solid. Put in a color, green, blue. Save that. I'm going to say margin 5 pixels. And then I'm going to say text align. I could do center or right. And then I'm going to say width of 400 pixels. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, that's neat, right? Stick everything in there. Give myself a width. Give myself a text alignment. Yeah, change this to, refresh this, right? Center. Change the width and stuff. So very simple to do. Right, so this may ring a bell completely with the way you may be used to HTML and CSS.